Today's video is just going to be a life update. I was planning on doing a skincare video, but I was going to do a deep dive into one of my favorite skincare brands, and they have a new product out. And so I have it coming. It's not here yet, so I decided I didn't want to do my video until after I had a chance to test it out so I could talk about their newest product also. But so we're just going to do an update. Hey everyone, this is Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Lisa Monique, where we cover all things lifestyle and beauty for the over 50 woman. So in today's update, we will start with the big news, which is sad news. My father passed away about 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. It was quick. He was in a memory care unit that he went to last June after he fell and hurt his back and then would not keep his back brace on and fell again and fractured it even worse. So when he went to the skilled nursing facility, he was in too much pain, couldn't do any of the physical therapy, eventually lost use of his legs, went into the memory care unit. Well, he was doing fine. It was a nice facility that we had him in Virginia. My sister visited 3 or 4 times a week with her family, initially every day, but it still minimum 3 times a week. I would fly in once a month. You could tell his memory was going, faster. There were less cognizant periods. He was living in the 1950s, 1940s, with his childhood. But then I got a phone call from my sister 2 weeks ago, and she said that the hospice nurse called and that she needed to get there. He took a downturn, and his oxygen level, I guess, was really low. When they were changing him for bed that night, his legs were blue, so they called in the hospice. I got out there the next day, that Monday, and he was pretty unresponsive. They were keeping him on some morphine. So we were there. I was there. He passed away on Wednesday. So he did not linger in this condition, and it was fairly rapid, eating a little less and a little more tired since Christmas, but they weren't expecting the rapid decline. But it came fast. Personally, I'm glad he didn't suffer. I'm glad it was not this long, drawn-out decline. So that's kind of where I am feeling about that. He does have his celebration of life next weekend, so I am putting together the video and my remarks for that. But yeah, 88 years old, 88 and a half, really good life, lots of good memories with all of his grandchildren, so really glad about that. But we're not going to dwell on sad things. Well, I actually had one other scary thing happen last week. So most of you in North America know we have this unprecedented, it's not unprecedented, we have an extreme cold front moving in, and it's lingering longer than typical. We got about 8 inches of snow at our place in Middle Tennessee. The roads are still super icy because the temperatures have stayed really low. So they've been in the single digits here. Last Monday was when we've had our majority of our snow and the majority of accumulation, and it had stopped snowing, and my daughter ventured out. Her girlfriend was supposed to fly to California. She was at the airport on the plane. The plane had to turn around. So my daughter thought that she would pick her up from the airport, bring her to her place, and she's fairly close, only a couple miles from the airport, so they could try again the next day. My daughter, who's never driven in the snow before, and she thought the roads were good. She overlooks a highway, and she saw the snow plow. She saw cars on the interstate, but there was a lot of slush on the roads. And she was in the center lane, and a semi-truck moved into the center lane, and she tried to move over to an unplowed lane, the left lane, skidded a little bit, clipped the back end of the semi, spun her around. She ended up hitting into the median, totaled her car, but she is okay. So unfortunately, it was all the passenger side that clipped the semi and then also hit the median because the side airbags all went off and everything, but the driver's airbags did not, which, since most of the injuries, or a lot of injuries, happen when those airbags go off, the force of the airbags, that she was shaken up and maybe just a little bit sore the next day, but she was good. So we have 3 cars, And at the beginning of the month, I drove our third car down and left it in Florida and flew home so that there would be a car there. But of course, now she needs to fly down to Florida and bring that car up. She's not old enough to do a rental car, and there's no point in us doing a rental car. Even though our insurance covers it, it's never enough. And we have a third car. It's just sitting in the employee lot down at the airport in Florida. So she's going to fly down and bring that back while we wait for the insurance. Of course, the roads are still so bad. Government offices are still closed. We didn't have any trash pickup all week. And so the adjusters have not been out to look at her car yet. So it could be a while before that happens. So that was our exciting week. But I love looking out my window and seeing the snow. I did get a heater. I love this heater. It really puts out a lot of heat. And I have it in front of the front window. It makes it feel like I'm on a fireplace when it kicks on. It definitely can warm up an area. In our rental home, all the windows are single pane windows. It is so cold in the front rooms. My computer is right next to a window. Like right here is a window. My computer is on a table right here, and I freeze. I have to have an electric blanket on while I'm editing because it is so cold, the air coming off of that window. But I love the cold, and my husband hates it, and every day, every minute, he's talking about how cold it is and how dangerous it is to drive, and negative, because he loved Arizona. Finally, last night, I was like, he was talking about how long it's been drawn out, how sick of it he is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it hasn't even been a week yet, or it's been only a week yet. Just imagine, a month or 2 months or 3 months, then you could be sick of it waiting for spring. But then I realized the reason I like the cold is I grew up in Virginia. I grew up with snow on the ground. And even, we didn't have the extreme fluctuations when I was growing up, but I think it just stayed cold longer. And you had the slushy snow, the brown snow, and you would have stuff on the roads, for weeks. You would have snow and slush on the roads. I mean, we're supposed to get in the 60s by Wednesday, so I'm thinking everything's going to melt off by then. My point was, this kind of reminds me of the weather I grew up with. So I love being snuggled up under a blanket or in front of my heater, since we do have a fireplace here, but I never asked. I didn't think we'd still be in this house, so I never asked if the fireplace was safe to use. It's a wood burning, so we just don't use it. But I love the cold, and I love the winter, and I love having snow on the ground. It makes me happy looking out my window. So it's definitely a little bit different from perspective, since he grew up in the South and really didn't experience long, cold temperatures. He did live in Germany for 3 years, so he experienced a lot of snow and bitter cold back then. But it's just not the same. But I'm just snug as a bug in a rug in the house. So my Amazon deliveries are all a week late. But other than that, I'm enjoying this little bit of cold, especially knowing that it is going to warm up again this week. So we've only got maybe 2 more days of it. But the cold is affecting the house. The snow is affecting our remodel on our house. So I'll give you a little update there. It's all framed in, the roof is on, but we still don't have a back wall. I did order a 12-inch sliding French doors for the living area and 9-foot sliding French door for the kitchen area, which pretty much makes, from the extension, it's mostly going to be glass. And it's going to be really pretty, and I'm really excited about that. But the doors were supposed to be delivered this week to the manufacturer, or I guess not the manufacturer, but the building supply place. They still need to make arrangements to deliver to the house, and then my contractor can install. We did order a front door, and I think he needed to order the door from the garage into the house. But once we have those doors in, which hopefully will happen soon, then the house will be buttoned up, and we really, as soon as the ground is melted, hopefully we can get the electricity on, so then we can start having workers again because it won't be quite so cold in there. But everything's been on a standstill this week. We had finished the framing. The plumber finished his work before the freeze, before the snow. The HVAC guy was out last week. What's happening with the electricity is we're moving up to a 400 amp box, which I'm not sure if we need a 400 amp box, but regardless, if I ever want to add a jacuzzi or we ever get an electric car or park an RV in our driveway, I would rather have the power done now because it will be a lot cheaper to just spend a little bit more right now than to have it upgraded later. In order to have a 400 amp box, you need to bury the power lines, which the electrician agreed to do with no additional cost to what he had already quoted us because we have pretty extensive electrical work. Now that the ground is covered with snow, obviously have not been able to bury the lines. Before they bury the lines, though, putting in a new box requires the meter box, the gas meter box, to be moved. So everything's kind of waiting for it to warm up a little bit, and hopefully we'll get the gas meter box moved. The electrician was going to come in next week and still drop all the new lines in the house until they can bury the lines outside the house. So all in all, this is putting us about 2 weeks behind where we had hoped to be at this point. We had hoped that all the doors and windows would be in at this point. Chances of us moving in at the end of February is like slim to none, but I never really expected it because you just never expect to move in when they say that you're going to move in. However, the lease in this house is up at the end of March. I've told my contractor a couple of times, I don't care if I can physically live in the house. I don't care if we have the occupancy permit done or not, but as long as there are a couple bedrooms that were minimal, we're just doing floors, baseboards, new closet doors, and dropping new electrical in. But as long as those bedrooms are done so we can move our belongings in those bedrooms, and then also in the attic, if they can put the stairs coming down and put plywood up there so we can move out of this house, I'll go stay in our condo in Florida. I will rent an Airbnb for a month. It won't matter as long as we can still move out of this house at the end of March. I don't care where we stay until our house is complete. It should be mostly done, though, I would think, by the end of March. Just some more of the cosmetic type stuff versus any of the major moving in. They've already framed out what the fireplace is going to be. It really looks good when I walk over there, so I'm excited about that. And let's see, other than that, my gardening channel is going well. I went over 1,000 watch hours, which I don't know, with the YouTube world, 4,000 watch hours is the magic number that you need in order to be monetized. So I'm posting one video there a week as well as one video here a week, hoping to be monetized around the time I move into our new home. So I think once the gardening plants, once I really start working on the yard over there, and once the snow's gone, I can show the status of my plants here. Those will be interesting to new gardeners, so the views hopefully will go up then. But it's called In the Garden with Lisa Monique. If you are interested in that. That's what's going on there. Shoulder is doing amazing. It's 6 months post-op. I did not need to go back to the doctor. He said if my arm was feeling good that I didn't need to go back. I started playing pickleball again right before my dad took a downturn. So I'm hoping this week I will be getting back out and starting playing on a regular basis again. I was kind of hoping that it was my shoulder that was making me not as good as I wanted to be, but I still really just think it's the eye-hand coordination with the backhand that's just a little slow. I need to learn to anticipate a little bit more. The tennis players probably know what I mean, like watching the ball come off the racket and things like that, but that's not natural to me. I've never played tennis before, so I'm usually doing this. You know, the ball is like going right by me. So I need to work on that, but it's fun. It keeps me active. That is my life update. Sorry I don't have anything new and exciting. I'm really not wearing a lot of makeup since I'm not going anywhere. So as always, I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.